What's going on, guys? What I'm going to do here is something I've never really done before. It's very similar to what they call like a reaction video. The only difference is that I'm basically doing it in a reaction video style, but actually I've already seen this material that I'm about to let you hear. This is a documentary. It's on Netflix. It's called 13th. And basically, it's about the history of Black incarceration in this country. And it's a very deep documentary, chock full of information that I myself have acquired over the years, getting from various sources. Well, they've taken all those sources and all that information and packed it in this one documentary. And I have to tell you something. I don't normally promote anything, but I'm going to tell you something. This movie for African Americans, any person of color, because they also talk about how Latinos was affected about a lot of the subjects in this documentary, it's a must watch. If it were up to me, I would show it in every classroom in African American schools. I would give it to every parent to sit down and watch with the family, every African American family. And, I'm not saying white shouldn't watch it too, but we definitely need to watch it because nobody is going to look out for us like us. You really have to understand how this country has royally fucked us over for the sake of profits. Okay? And I'm telling you right now, if you're one of these people that's hopelessly loyal to your party, your heart is going to be broken. Because though the Republican Party obviously played a big role in everything, the Democrats did as well. That part of it, which goes back to the crime bill, I'm not really going to show that. I'm going to show two particular parts. One of the parts I'm going to show you right now is concerning, well, I'm going to let you listen. I'm going to let you watch me listen to it because of copyright issues, of course. It's concerning an organization called ALEC. ALEC, in a nutshell, is a group it's a private organization that pays politicians under the table to write laws for them. In fact, they were so corrupt, the relationship between them and our lawmakers, they were actually writing the laws and giving it to them. And one of the things they don't mention in this documentary that I actually read in some other material a few years ago, it was so crazy that when they were at events, having cocktails, these executives for these different companies who are also members of ALEC would write laws down on cocktail napkins and give it to the lawmakers to take back to their office and transfer that information over to the proper form so that they could try to pass it as law. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to cover this right here. Let you listen to it.
Passed in Florida played a huge role in the Trayvon Martin tragedy, and this really ignited the movement that we see today.
After Trayvon Martin's death, Florida's Stand Your Ground law came into the spotlight.
How did this law not only get in place in Florida, but around the country? And all the fingers kept pointing back to ALEC.
ALEC sounds like the name of a high school lacrosse player who just got baked and wrecked his dad's Saab. But incredibly, it's actually even worse.
ALEC is a political lobbying group.
ALEC is a political lobbying group.
They write laws.
And
give them to Republicans. Stand Your Ground. Was written by ALEC.
ALEC is this private club, and its members are politicians and corporations. But the real question is, should politicians and corporations be in the same private club? Under the umbrella of ALEC, corporate members get to propose laws to their political counterparts, most of whom are Republicans. So through ALEC, corporations have a huge say in our lawmaking. And at ALEC task force meetings, corporate lobbyists secretly vote as equals with lawmakers on bills that those lawmakers then introduce to become laws in our states.
ALEC is
This
everywhere.
is pure evil.
Roughly 1 in 4 state legislators are members.
And I am proud to stand with ALEC today.
And it's not hard to see why. ALEC makes their jobs troublingly easy. Here's their model electricity freedom bill, which at one point says, "Be it therefore enacted that the state of insert state, repeals the Renewable
next to
Energy
a fire
Mandate.
station, I'm
So
sorry.
as long as you can remember and spell
It's one of the
names
hazards
of
of living
states,
next to a fire
you
station.
can introduce legislation.
We've also seen ALEC bills introduced where a lawmaker forgot to take the ALEC letterhead off the bill without remembering to take off the ALEC letterhead to try to distance the real role of ALEC and ALEC corporations from those bills.
I'm just curious, does the legislation have some connection to ALEC?
Representative Atkins, I'm not sure why we're pursuing this course of questioning. This bill is my bill. It's not Alec's bill.
The reason I ask is because earlier you passed out a handout that says Gottwald at the top, and it says Healthcare Compact, and there's a logo right in the middle of that page. And I went to the ALEC website, and there's exactly the same font, the same size, and the same logo. I mean, literally, it's verbatim.
Well, it's totally shocking to know that ALEC has been around for more than 4 decades now. And it's even more startling to see how it began.
ALEC has forged a unique partnership between state legislators and leaders from the corporate and business community.
Corporations have been influencing laws for decades now through ALEC.
They want everybody to vote. I don't want everybody to vote. As a matter of fact, our leverage in the elections quite candidly goes up as the voting populace goes down.
Nearly every ALEC bill benefits one of its corporate funders. The corporation Walmart was a long-standing member of ALEC at the time that it adopted the so-called Stand Your Ground law. It's a law that created an atmosphere where gun sales boomed. Walmart is the biggest seller of long guns in the U.S., has been the largest retailer of bullets in the world. So it's reasonable to think that Walmart benefited from these Stand Your Ground laws that ALEC pushed that initially prevented the arrest of the killer of Trayvon Martin and was designed to prevent the arrest, prosecution, and conviction of the killer of Trayvon Martin, including through changing the jury instructions to require that a jury be told that someone like George Zimmerman has a right to stand his ground, but not that someone like Trayvon Martin has a right to stand his ground against someone like George Zimmerman with a gun assailing him. After the outcry over Stand Your Ground and the Trayvon Martin tragedy, Walmart stepped out of ALEC. It left ALEC, abandoned ALEC, but the Walmart family continues to fund ALEC. Other corporations followed suit and stepped away from ALEC, but many corporations are still members, including Koch Industries, State Farm Insurance, Pharma, which is the lobbying group for the pharmaceutical industry. ALEC has been supported by the tobacco industry, as well as AT&T and Verizon. And for nearly 2 decades, one of those corporations was Corrections Corporation of America.
Every day we serve our communities, from small towns to large cities at more
Now,
than
this
60
is where ALEC
locations across our country. As the nation's
started
fifth
paying
largest
lawmakers
corrections
to
system,
pass laws
build,
that ended up
manage,
landing a
secure
lot of
correctional facilities.
nonviolent African Americans in prison for a very long time.
It started as a small company in Tennessee in 1983.
These folks started making contracts with states, and they had to protect their investment, so the states were required to keep these prisons filled, even if nobody was committing a crime. And in the late 80s and early 90s, this became a growth industry, unlike very few growth industries in America's history. It was absolutely a model guaranteed to succeed.
And one of the ways we see that is through the role of CCA within ALEC to advance a series of bills.
All the legislation you could think of that we fight so hard against.
I want to stop there for a second and let you know that in many states, say, for example, if crime goes down and they're not able to fill beds in a lot of private prisons, they have an agreement with the government where the taxpayers would still pay them as though those beds were filled. So empty beds still get paid for. So what is the state going to do? Of course, the state is going to make sure they're not paying for an empty bed. They'd much rather have, your son or your daughter in there.
3 strikes, you're out.
3 strikes and you are out.
Mandatory minimum sentencing laws.
Serve at least 85% of their sentence.
We're the ones that were putting out there, like on a premier prefix dinner venue, a steady influx of bodies to generate the profit that would go to the shareholders.
Through ALEC, CCA became the leader in private prisons. It's a multi-billion-dollar business today.
Okay, that's enough. You get the idea. So this is a must watch. It gets much deeper than this, but I only wanted to use that section on Alec because I think it's so prevalent. But the entire documentary is full of information. It's very educational. And I can't say enough how much every African American in this country needs to watch this. You know, so it's on Netflix. You might be able to check it out somewhere else. You know, I don't know. But yeah, so check that out. And I'm just really glad to see that somebody finally put all of this information in a documentary so that some people can watch it and get educated. You know, man, invite some friends over, man. Get the family in the living room and watch it. Sit down with the kids and watch it so people will know exactly where Black people in this country stand and how we are intentionally being targeted. We're intentionally being targeted. And it mentions a young man in here. I forget the young man's name. I'm sorry about that. But he was innocent. He got arrested years ago, and it was in New York. And he stayed in there for 3 years. And it covers how they make most people cop a plea because they scare them by telling them, look, if you make us take you to trial, we're going to end up probably trying to give you about 20 to 30 years. So people end up copping a plea. They say, look, why don't you just go ahead and say you're guilty and we'll give you 2 or 3 years. And people take it. And I think it was saying in this documentary, something like 90-something% of cases don't even go to trial. People just say, hey, you know, man, look, I'm not going to take a risk of staying, you know, a good portion of my life in prison. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll take it. And a lot of people are actually innocent, but they're afraid to go to trial. And it says in here, in this documentary, which is common sense, if people would have just suddenly stopped taking those deals, the system would just practically shut down. It would be like just an engine that just ran out of oil and just shut down. There's no way possible that they could possibly afford to take all those people to trial. They've got so many people in prison. So please, people, you know, check this out. And as always, join the Facebook group, Boycott the NFL, season 2, 2017. It's on Facebook. I'm going to drop that link down in the bottom. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. And if you are a hater, hit the thumbs down button. You know, that's cool too. But yeah. And, you know, hey, also subscribe. All right. Thanks a lot, guys.